Mr. Land?
Yeah?
My name's Tucker, David Tucker. I understand you're advertising for Prince Eugene's standard bearer.
Yes, I am. I see, yeah.
It's not from the original set, of course.
But there was only one set made.
That's right, for Sir Edward Bailey in 1894. I checked his chronicles. Unfortunately, the original standard bearer was lost in a voyage from Cairo to Florence. He dropped it in the Med.
Never knew that. And this?
Oh, I made that.
You made it?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I understand you have an original surgeon from Napoleon's old guard, and I'd rather like that, so I thought swaps.
Why, swap rather. Wonderful.
Oh, splendid, splendid.
Yeah.
Are you free for a few minutes?
Oh, yes, I'm free for the next 2 hours, and I'm fighting in the semi-final.
So am I. Well, I wonder if you care to limber up.
Why not?
Fine. I must say, I did admire your article on the uses of shrapnel. Not very effective, though, was it, in Napoleonic times?
No, not really. Not shrapnel as we understand it now. Actually, the British used rockets, but they were liable to be as lethal to the sender as the receiver.
Yes. Of course, there was canister.
Yeah.
You know, a hit from canister on a battery, that could be pretty lethal.
Oh, yes, and to troops in squares. There. Napoleon?
That's right.
Where'd you get it?
I made it. Look, I was thinking, you know, surely we should allow more for casualties from a hit with canister.
Oh, London, you do. You throw 2 dice for canister and nothing off for range.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, shall we say then canister only at 250 yards?
Yes, fine.
Advance by light infantry in open order, a full move towards the ruin. Then Count Ollier's cavalry will ride to the edge of the wood on the right flank, followed by the horse artillery, which will go on limber. Then Count Rohan's cavalry cover the left flank.
Wellington's heavy cavalry advance 400 yards towards the ruin, horse artillery follow, and unlimber at the house.
My infantry will form squares.
Yes, I have to send some more reinforcements.
My orders read. Cavalry break into 2 and go to left and right respective flanks out of range. Artillery, open fire with round shot at your squares, if so formed. Damn. My cavalry will charge.
What? Troops in squares?
My dear chap, squares shot to pieces, demoralized with heavy casualties. Now remember, according to the rules, you must throw to see if they will receive the charge. A rout.
By the way, you can now see these.
What are they?
Artillery.
Oh, I see. Then, in that case, I countermand the charge.
You can't countermand a charge order.
Oh, yes, I can, after half a move. In which case I sustain only half casualties.
I thought you'd do that. So I ordered my cavalry to charge when you ordered your retreat after an abortive charge.
Yeah?
Oh, yes. What does it say? No, what does it say here? Tell me.
Cavalry charge if lands cavalry turn tail.
And cuts yours to pieces. Only for half a move, of course, and you sustain only half casualties again. I will throw for casualties.
Very good, Tucker. Very good. You and I will have to fight a campaign, I can see that. Do you live in London?
Yes, I do.
Well, you better come along to my place, see my war room. Make yourself at home.
It's magnificent.
You approve?
I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. Except in shops that sell this stuff, of course.
Yes, well, I suppose it is one of the privileges of having a bit of money, and it is my only vice.
Oh, surely not.
Yes. Oh, that and collecting antique African figures. See those chaps over there? 1,000 years old.
Ah, you've been to Africa then?
Yes, Rhodesia, 1960 to 64. We opened a factory out there. Still doing very well, so they tell me.
Making tractors?
Who knows?
Ah.
Now, look, I've prepared the maps. What I suggest is that the English have invaded from the south. You know, pretend it's possible.
Fine.
Right, good. Well, make up your mind. Invader or defender?
Oh, I'm easy.
Well, I do know that area of France pretty well. It might be too easy if I defended it.
All right. I'll defend it. You attack it.
Right. Now, let's assume that the English have a good spy system and know pretty well where the enemy strength is. Oh, by the way, you brought your own troops with you, didn't you?
Oh, yes, indeed, yes.
Led by Napoleon.
No, I'll be Napoleon.
Then I'll be Wellington. Now, let's mark our troop position, shall we? Da-da-da-dee-da-dee-da-da. Ridiculous, isn't it?
Right.
Well, here you and I are going to fight a lovely war, and I don't know a damn thing about you. Or you me.
Well, we know that we both like playing war games, don't we?
Yes, and you like making soldiers. What do you do for a living?
Well, it's sort of foreign office, really.
Oh, what's your job there? Or shouldn't I ask?
No, you can ask. It's not all that important. Oh, it's all to do with passports, you know. You'd be amazed how many people lose them. I have to, help them out. And then there's 1 or 2 repatriation jobs every year, sort of general troubleshooting,
Fascinating.
Well, I suppose it is. If you call answering a lot of people's questions and giving them advice fascinating, yes, it is.
Is that all you do, give advice?
And hope it's acted on, yeah.
You're asking for trouble, aren't you?
How do you mean?
I will allow you to alter your dispositions if you like.
Oh, no, we'll see. It's a narrow valley. It's easy to defend. It's got a hill covering the whole district.
Yes, but with my total force, you wouldn't last half a day.
Well, it depends how many people you take with you. That's what counts.
Well, that's the way you want to play it, is it?
Well, how would you play it?
Would you like to know? So, we have our first battle here, do we? Now, my force is always scouted by infantry in open order, supported by artillery. My main force is 5 miles back, flanked by cavalry and skirmishers.
Right, well, your cavalry will find defences on the road where it goes between the hills, here.
Yes. And while keeping a close watch, they send a report back to me, Wellington, and I decide to bypass the defended road and cross the bridge here. Ah, where I see you have another small force defending the bridge and the house.
Right.
Yes, well then I will attack with my advance force at the bridge here. Right. Come on, let's set the place up.
Fine.
You'll find all your stuff over there.
Thank you.
Tucker, I'd like you to give me some advice, if you would. Something you might know about, being connected with a foreign office.
Oh, yeah?
Well, say a foreign intelligence service sent somebody incriminating photographs of a colleague in compromising circumstances with a girl, not his wife. What would you do?
I don't know. I'd send them back to him and tell him to be more careful in future, I suppose.
What if the photographs were taken in Moscow?
Oh, same thing, only obviously I want to know why they'd been sent to me.
Well, let's just pretend that this colleague had worked for a while overseas as a spy for Britain, on the side.
Wait a minute, what is all this about spies?
Well, businessmen abroad, they often do, don't they?
Well, I've read about it, yeah.
Well, let's just pretend for a moment that he was a spy.
Well, I suppose I'd ask myself, first of all, was this affair a part of his clandestine activities?
Clandestine, I like that. I asked myself that question. Was it part of his clandestine activities?
Then you decided that it was?
No. I decided that it wasn't. And this was confirmed by the subject himself. Rather carelessly, I thought. No, it seems he visited this girl regularly. She was in love with him, silly little idiot. Now, that girl's going to be hurt. She's going to be hurt very badly, not only by his non-return, but by the Russians. He should have known that, shouldn't he?
Go on.
Well, it is agreed, then, that this man was probably a spy.
Oh, I shouldn't think so, Mr. Land. I mean, I don't think he would be trusted for that sort of job, would he? I mean, not that I know anything about that sort of thing, anyway.
You don't trust spies. You use their facilities and keep an eye on them for the double cross.
Go on.
Well, let's say this spy doesn't like being booted out of his firm. Let's say he insists MI5, or whatever it's called nowadays, help him out.
Oh, why should they?
Well, if they don't, he'll tell all. The reason doesn't matter. Now, let's suppose that they agree to help him out. Now, what I want you to tell me is, what would they do?
I've no idea, Mr. Land. Under similar circumstances, for instance, what would you do?
Well, I might dig up a skeleton from Heathcote Land's cupboard, and I might say to him, now you belt up or we'll tell all we know about you as well.
And do you have any skeletons?
Well, everybody has a skeleton in their cupboard, don't they? I'll just have to be careful, don't I?
There we are.
Oh, thank you, darling. Come on, let's write our orders down for the first move, shall we?
Whenever you're ready.
Why do you write everything down before you do it?
Oh, well, so that when you make your first move and find that you've dropped an almighty clanger, you can't, in fact, pretend that you intended to do something else entirely different.
But it's not. It's only a game, for heaven's sake. Nobody's going to cheat.
Only a game. Tucker, did you hear what she said? Only a game. No, seriously, it's to save time arguing later. You see, my darling, it is a most regrettable truth that in this war game, you never trust a soul. Is that right, Callan?
That's right.
I presume your cavalry are going to charge me, old son.
Oh, yes. You'll suffer heavy casualties unless you withdraw.
Splendidly said, Callan, splendid. We know exactly where we stand, don't we?
Throw for morale. You stand. Well, it's not really much point in your throwing for casualties, is there? Melee. My cavalry cuts you to pieces. So sorry.
Don't be sorry. Next bound, my artillery, here and here, open fire with great but point-blank range. It's a massacre.
No, hang on, wait a minute, flipping heck, you can't do that. I mean, you've got your own troops in the way there.
Yes, but only a few of them, and they have served their purpose. Now, do you want to throw the dice, or will you just take them off now?
Written orders.
Certainly, written orders.
Throw the dice. Go on. Sad. That is very sad. They will retire and guard the bridge until reinforcements arrive.
You see, I am a ruthless man. You'll have to remember that next time, won't you?
Yes, I will, won't I?